Good morning. Who are you? Where are we? And where are we going? Reading from Proverbs 10:9. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Indirect, but also directed questions as we think about a new dawn of an academic year and the opening of a new chapter for each class of our students. A new chapter of anticipation, of excitement, but also of a new mission, which will be developed on this campus in a time when your endeavors are needed the most. When we think of superheroes, we have our flashbacks to our childhoods, or even today, enjoying our Marvel and DC comics, seeing the superheroes save the day. I'm thinking of names like Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, and my new favorite, La Borinqueña, the Puerto Rican superhuman. They stir us to cheer them on for their good causes and saving others. Now it is time for a new force of heroes and saviors, and they're sitting right next to you now. You'll pass them in the hallways of South Hall, the academic buildings, CC's athletic fields, and I want you to find that heroism within yourself as well. The Muslim leader, Zaid Shakir, in a speech for the United for Change conference in Washington, D.C., stated, "My brothers and sisters, both in faith and in humanity, now it is a time for us to be called into action. Now is a time for the emergence of the hero. Let us ask, just what is a hero? There are many answers to this question. No matter how we answer, we will find that heroism is inseparable from mercy." Your investment in time and energy at CC is the foundation of the new group of heroes and heroines before us. You, on this campus, are the hope we seek to represent the empowering of human endeavor and bring out the best of what we can be. In times of uncertainty in the world, I have told students to continue with their biology research projects, go to practice for the soccer team, to engage in spiritual practice, and perform in concerts with their cello. I will say that these things are more important than ever, for these activities embody what we wish for in the human spirit of progress, teamwork, and furthering the beauty of the cultivation of human creativity and love. In the hope I speak of this day, I will also say that your daily efforts here are embraced by what we mean by the definition of earthly saviors. I ask you to think about who your heroes are, your family members, dear lifelong friends, and teachers. Prepare yourself to meet more during this time of your life, and how you will also be a part of a league of heroes, which will bring us into our next chapters of glory. Your commitments to your talents and to one another are embodied by this heroism, and your determined spirits will continue to drive it.
Please be seated. And good morning. Welcome new and returning students, faculty, staff, and friends. Opening Convocation marks the official beginning of the 145th academic year. As we come together and as president of Colorado College, I want to acknowledge the Ute people and all indigenous nations and the ancestral lands, Mother Earth, on which we sit and stand. As members of our community, I ask you to honor the ancestors of our various peoples, nations, tribes, and families whose struggles for justice on this land inspire us. Colorado College was founded to provide a place in the Rocky Mountain West for knowledge seekers to be intellectually curious. It is with our founders' ambition that we remain passionately dedicated to sustaining a learning environment rich with opportunities for exploration, growth, and contribution. For our new students, you are joining a community that encourages you to think deeply and differently, to go beyond your initial thoughts and assertions, and to blaze a trail that questions conventional ideas. The distinguished alumni that we recognize today, Jena Hausmann, Richard Koo, and EllaMaria Ray, have done just that. excelling in their professions and making a difference in the lives of others. They exemplify the value and opportunity that can result from a liberal arts education. And I hope that you will take the time to learn more about them and imagine the ways that you can follow in their footsteps. It's now my pleasure to introduce the 2018-19 Colorado College Student Government Association President, Zach Schulman. Yay, Zach. From Long Island, New York, Zach is a neuroscience major with minors in biochemistry and molecular biology. After graduation, he plans to attend medical school and eventually work in public health. Zach is a committed student leader who cares deeply about the student body and is dedicated to his role. I know that he feels strongly that student government is an important way for students to influence their education and experiences at Colorado College. Zach is also an enthusiastic intramural soccer player and founder of the men's club soccer team. Please join me in welcoming CCSGA President Zach Schulman.
Thank you. Good morning, Colorado College. Good morning. What a great day to welcome you all to the 2018-2019 academic year. Thank you, President Tiefenthaler, for that kind introduction. I spent all summer on campus, and as beautiful as the Springs is during the summer, I assure you all that it is great to see this many faces back on campus. President Tiefenthaler, I know I'm speaking on behalf of the student body when I say I appreciate you acknowledging the history of the land we stand on. Today, I'd like to take the time to talk about what it means to be ushering in a new year at CC. Whether you're going to an FYE after this, or to start your senior thesis, or an office where you've worked for the last 20 years, it's important that we all reflect on what to carry with us into these next 8 blocks. One thing that I made sure was not included in President Tiefenthaler's introduction was that when I was younger, I was actually desperately afraid of public speaking. In first grade, I actually ran out of a classroom when asked to present a story I'd written. Standing before my class of maybe 20 and reading aloud something I had written about myself was so daunting that the only fathomable option was to stand up, give a quick look around, and make a run for the door. Proudly, I can say that I'm no longer desperately afraid of public speaking. I've only thought of making a run for it once or twice since I started. This personal progress that I've made is much easier to recognize than institutional progress. After all, I've been around for each step in between where I was in first grade and where I am today. It's much harder to recognize how a place changes. Sometimes, even though you know it's changed, you can't quite put your finger on how. This is especially true for us students here at CC, whose mere 4 years here are often too few to witness real change in some of the most important domains. When I first started thinking about this, I assumed that 4 years for each student was too short a time to see real change. And when I say real change, I mean the type that moves the very core of something. But really, the 4-year cycle of students is not a hindrance to change, it's a spark, and it gives every student an amazing amount of agency and ownership over their experience here. Every year we welcome a new class of students. They come from different places with concerns about different issues, curious about different topics, and with different bizarre talents like competitive yo-yoing than the departing one. When you enter as a first year, it's hardly apparent that this place changes at all, at least if you ignore it seeming like half of campus was built within the last 5 years. The conversations being had, traditions being upheld, and culture being adopted all seem customary. It comes with a little time here that you realize these are the products of decisions made by staff, students, and faculty alike, many of whom are no longer here. At the beginning of every year, we are faced with decisions of what to carry forward and what to leave behind. In doing so, we consciously and unconsciously set these customs for ourselves. This is important for 2 reasons. The first is because it is critical that we as a community reflect on what we want to carry with us into this new academic year. It is not inevitable that conversations from last year successfully carry over into the coming one. For example, the Weston time requirement, which was courageously eliminated last year as the result of a persistent an outspoken group of Black students working with dynamic faculty. The conversation around the Weston time was strong at points last year and in years prior. Now, with the requirement having been eliminated, further conversation could be hushed. There are, however, still important questions lingering about a replacement requirement. It is critical that we as students do not allow this topic and others to become artifacts over a single summer. The second reason why I mention how we set our own customs is to remind you all of the agency that you have here. At CC, you have the chance to explore different ways of building and interacting with community. Local Festival is the perfect example of this. If you haven't heard of it, Local Festival is happening for the first time later this block in place of Blues and Shoes. It's a festival that welcomes local artists to campus for an enjoyable, community-oriented gathering to start the academic year. It's important that when old traditions are replaced by new ones, we ask ourselves, is this new tradition more representative of CC than the old one? In that same light, we should ask whether other traditions and customs we have still suit the changing nature of this place. Many of the greatest strides the school has taken came in the face of adversity. There will most likely be a moment this year, maybe even many moments, when we as a community are threatened by conflict. These moments may be traumatic, they may be grossly embarrassing, they may fill you with rage. But when these moments come, it's important to remember how this place can be reimagined by each individual. It's important that we do not run away, as I did many years ago in that first grade classroom. Instead, let us be bold in our actions and remember that each and every one of us not only has a place here, but a place in defining what it means to be here. I cannot wait for what the year has in store, and I greatly look forward to spending it learning, sharing, and being with you all. Thank you so much.
Jena Hausmann has committed her life to helping children and families when they are most vulnerable, fighting for the weak, tending to the sick, ensuring that structures and policies are always there to protect our children. Jena's tenacity and dedication to helping ensure that children in the Rocky Mountain region get the very best possible medical care has helped elevate the Children's Hospital of Colorado to one of the leading children's hospitals in the world. Under her leadership, the hospital has treated over 20,000 children a year from all 50 states and 35 different countries. Tupac Shakur said that for every dark night, there's a brighter day. The families that Jena has worked diligently to support are often seeing some of their darkest nights. Through her drive to make a lasting difference, Jena has helped many families see a brighter day. Jena's efforts in ensuring that the children of Colorado and this region have a fighting chance are noble and noteworthy. President Tiefenthaler, I am moved with great joy to present Jena Hausmann for the Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By action of a committee of faculty and the trustees, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you, Jena Hausmann, the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and admit you to all rights and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. As a token of this honor, I ask that you be vested with a hood appropriate to the degree, and I present you with this diploma.
It is my pleasure to introduce Richard Koo, a 1982 graduate of the college who has distinguished himself in the software industry and followed up by giving back to the college and the community. I was lucky to be one of Richard's teachers and learned quickly to point him in the right direction and then step out of the way. In true liberal arts fashion, he marshals several perspectives when faced with a problem and avoids losing sight of the goal. I remember with fondness our discussions where neither one of us would let the other get away with fuzzy arguments. Now he chooses to volunteer his time in a variety of ways, including advising students in the Big Idea program and teaching what has become a yearly course in the Mathematics and Computer Science department. His generosity has added significantly to the computer science program and the broader college program. Madam President, I present Richard Koo for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
By action of a committee of faculty and trustees, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you, Richard Koo, the degree Doctor of Science honoris causa, and admit you to all rights and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. As a token of this honor, I ask that you be vested with the hood appropriate to the degree, and I present you with this diploma.
It is my great honor to present Dr. EllaMaria Ray. Dr. EllaMaria Ray calls herself an artist/anthropologist. I would add that she's also a scholar, a theoretician, a historian, a teacher, a cultural witness, and a tireless crusader for art as a force for good in society. In all her many roles and in her artworks, Dr. Ray calls upon us, the viewer, to witness, to dismantle boundaries, and to celebrate and embrace the magnificence of humanity. Dr. Ray's work as an artist and scholar draws upon the cultural aesthetics of continental and diasporic Africans with the aim of breaking down barriers and reconciling opposites. Like Dr. Ray herself, her sculptures are a compelling and powerful experience. For me, they evoke the unknowable. They analyze and spark imagination. They harness intellectualism to truth and creativity. They teach, narrate, and inspire. In her teaching, her scholarship, her vibrant creative life, and her commitment to making art that embraces, celebrates, and heals all people at the cellular level, Dr. Ray embodies the liberal arts. She and her work capture the potential of artists to make the world a better place. Madam President, I present EllaMaria Ray for the Doctor of Fine Arts honoris causa.
By action of the Committee of Faculty and the trustees, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you, EllaMaria Ray, the degree Doctor of Fine Arts honoris causa, and admit you to all rights and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. As a token of this honor, I ask that you be vested with the hood appropriate to the degree, and I present you with this diploma. And now I am pleased to invite Dr. EllaMaria Ray to give the keynote speech, which she has entitled, Sculpt Your Own Experience.
I come from a tradition where before you speak, before you address community, you acknowledge, you call on your ancestors and the spirit of the universe. I come from a tradition where it is important to recognize that you are never by yourself. At this moment, my ancestors and yours fill this space from floor to ceiling. You've been accepted here. It's now time to sculpt your own experience. I stand upon the shoulders of Louise Dolores Foley Ray, William Raymond Ray, and Jean Jackson Emery. Louise Dolores Foley Ray is my mother. William Raymond Ray is my father, and both of them are ancestors. Jean Jackson Emery, one of the descendants of the founders of this institution, is my godmother. I also stand upon the shoulders of intellectual midwives. I stand on the shoulders of Jean Abrams, who was an adjunct math teacher, professor, when I was here at Colorado College. I stand on the shoulders of Robin Root, who was the director of the Writing Center when I was a student. I stand on the shoulders of William Champion, a professor in the chemistry department. I stand upon the shoulders of Owen Kramer, a classics professor. I stand upon the shoulders of Barbara Winternitz, a biology professor. Mike Hoffman, an anthropology, a physical anthropology professor. Marianne Stoller, my advisor and a cultural anthropologist. I stand upon the shoulders of Adrienne Lanier Seward, who was and is my mentor. She is from the Department of English, and she is a professor emeritus, and a person who helped me give birth to myself intellectually and in terms of claiming who I am as a displaced African. Claiming who I am as a daughter of people who experienced tremendous hardship, but did it with resilience, grace, and dignity. I stand upon the shoulder of Cherilyn Napieu, my girlfriend from high school. I stand upon the shoulders of John Gudvagen, a dear friend from Colorado College. I stand upon the shoulders of Leslie Anderson, a museum specialist in Washington, D.C. I stand upon the shoulders of Laura Fulginetti, one of my classmates with whom I walked the path of anthropology. I stand upon the shoulders of Liza Malott, a friend who held me up during a difficult time. You need to know a bit about who I am. I am a daughter of Denver's dust. I am the daughter of a man who identified himself as someone with a commitment to life, a commitment to vitality, and he was a truck driver. On my father's side of the family, I am a part of the first generation to go to college. I'm also the daughter of a woman who loved two things. She loved being a school nurse, and she loved being my mother. And on her side of the family, I'm a part of that second generation that went to college. I am also the second Ph.D. in my family, and there are others following after me. I was one of the first children to desegregate the Denver public schools in 1974. Now, let me just sort of give you a sense of who I was. Between the glasses, the braces, the ballet lessons, the African dance, the rigorous study of violin, a hunger for books, and a passion for Broadway musicals, R&B, soul, and funk, like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Parliament's Funkadelic Parliament, I was a blurred. And in that space, and in the context of my community, I was also what Langston Hughes refers to as the seed of the coming free. Now, I was guided toward Colorado College really during my duckling years. My mother had come to CC to take a course, a history course. T.K. Barton was her instructor. She talked about what went on in class all the time. And part of why she was taking this course was she had decided that she was going to get her master's. She was going to take a leave without pay from her job, get a loan, and get it done in a year. So she came to CC, took one course from T.K. Barton, and was really deeply impressed with the campus, with the community. And she went to the bookstore, bought a T-shirt, and brought it home to me. I may have been in second grade. And the T-shirt read, "I'm a little tiger from Colorado College." And I wore the T-shirt till it was threadbare. In claiming this school at an early age, I had sculpted out what it is that I was going to be. I was going to be a pediatrician, work specifically with children who had cerebral palsy. That was going to be my area. Fast forward to where we sit today. I am an artist. I am an anthropologist whose academic product is visual art and whose academic home is Africana Studies. And I teach remarkable students, and I do mean remarkable students, at Metropolitan State University, up the road a bit. And so here you have your first day of class. Let me share with you my first day. The night before my first day of class, I laid out all of my clothes. I went to bed early because I wanted to rise refreshed. And in the process of going to bed, my head didn't turn off. So, like every first day of school, since I was a child, I did not sleep. And while I was not sleeping, episodes from a television show called The Paper Chase were rolling through my mind. This was a program where there was a professor, a law professor, who was committed to producing powerful lawyers by any means necessary. And he was soul crushing, but they always rose to the occasion. And one of the things you did not do in this professor's class was be late to class. And in my own commitment not to be late, I stayed up and looked at the ceiling. When the alarm went off, I put on my clothes. I put on my Sunday best. I had worked so hard to get here. I came from a family that had expectations. I put my hair in a French knot. I put on my Sunday clothes. I put on my best shoes. They hurt my feet, but I was going to wear them. I intended to represent. I got to class early because I didn't want the professor to shroud me as the professor had in Paper Chase and mark me in some way as not being adequate. Got there early, sat in the front of what was a semicircle. And I waited. My colleagues came in, trickled in from breakfast one at a time, and we waited. As it got closer for class to begin, I could feel my chest tightening. I could feel the excitement welling up in my body. I could hardly contain myself. And then he walked in. He wore rag wool socks, Birkenstocks that he had resold himself, jeans that had seen better days. And to set it all off, he wore a Hawaiian shirt. He was an adjunct professor. And my first class was Calc 1. I was crestfallen. Where was the background music? I got through that first day. I had to let go of that image of what college would look like and what faculty would be like. Wake up and smell the coffee and begin to sculpt my own experience. I had to remind myself that for me, the sky was my floor. The sky was my floor. I was not getting my degree just for myself. I was getting my degree for not just my family, not just my community, but to make some kind of contribution to humanity. The rag wool socks were really not significant. The number of steps this man had taken in his Birkenstocks did not matter, and I just had to let go of the Hawaiian shirt. I had to learn to claim Colorado College on my terms. I had to take the clay body that is represented in the courses that are offered here to claim an experience that would transform me from the inside out. And so let me say that for me, one of the powerful spaces that you all have is embedded in the faculty. The faculty at this institution work extremely hard. The faculty at this institution are committed to your reaching your potential. They're not committed to you getting an A. They're not committed to you failing. They're committed to you reaching your highest potential. I had that experience when I tried to do the block plan on the semester plan. I was taking organic chemistry. I had gotten through the lab portion of the course, but grappling with which bond went with which element and what was going on with the atoms was confusing. And to try to grapple with it in 3.5 weeks, feeling like it was 24 hours, was daunting. But I would not be defeated. I took the first exam, and I think I got what was equivalent to a D. I figured, no problem, I've got somewhere to go. I took the second exam. It was kind of comparable to the first exam. No problem. I can do this. And then we had another exam before the final. And I had crawled, and I do say crawled, to a C-. But when the math was all said and done, I could see where this was going. I was on my way to a goose egg. I, who had never failed any course in high school in my life. I was one of the stars at my high school, and it was happening. Organic chemistry was going to take me out. And then I heard a voice inside say, "Girl, you better pull yourself together. You better go talk to somebody." And I went to Dr. Seward. The block following organic chemistry was going to be my first class with Dr. Adrienne Lanier Seward. She is the first woman of African ancestry to get tenure at this institution. We came to Colorado College the same year. I had to go to her and say, "Professor Seward, I'm not doing well in chemistry. And I think I can't take your class. Go talk to Bill Champion." Okay. So I spoke with him. "Professor Champion, I cannot fail this class." Now, keep in mind, I was not demanding a grade. I was telling him what my reality needed to be. I cannot fail this class. I cannot fail this class because I do not fail. Could we come up with another strategy? And between the two of them, this is what happened. The following block, I redid organic chemistry on my own and had meetings with him. Not the lab portion, the course portion. And I took the course from Dr. Seward, independent study. I maybe showed up 2 or 3 times to have intensive conversations with her about my project on Black women's literature. And then I rallied everybody I knew who'd taken organic chemistry. I got everybody's old exams, and I studied, and it became a kind of project in the community to see if they could find me an exam that I hadn't practiced on. The day came. I had to face Bill Champion to take the exam that would determine my grade. He handed me exam, and I told him that I couldn't take it because according to the honor code, I had seen the exam and it wasn't possible. No problem. He pulled out another exam. According to the honor code, sir, I will not be able to complete this exam. He'd been doing this for years. No problem. He went back to the file 3 more times and then pulled one from his archives. I took it from his hand. I went to Palmer. I got a room. I locked the door, and I took the exam. I felt pretty good about it when it was over, handed it in, and then dove into writing my paper for Dr. Seward, entitled Black Roses That the Weeds Can't Kill. And I pulled from her curriculum of literature, and I read all of the work, and I wrote the 20-page paper in the course of the block. I got my grade in organic chemistry. I earned a C+. Where's the applause? When you are sculpting your own experience, you get to decide what excellence is, what it means. You get to decide the power of it. Now, I did all of the pre-read requirements, but I had to be honest with myself, and you'll have to be honest with yourself. Be true to what really calls your name from the inside out. And for me, it was anthropology. And as an anthropologist, I wanted to study the experiences of Black people, the experiences of displaced African people, the experiences of continental people of African ancestry. Anthropology was my portal. And once again, people came to my assistance. I am an artist who uses anthropology to talk about the lives, the culture, the experiences of a resilient people. Young scholars, when I came to Colorado College, I was one of 25 Black students. By the time I graduated, I was one of 2. There's work to be done, but it's an effort we all have to step into. The sky is your floor here. Take whatever clay body you have. Take advantage of all the experiences. Put your hands in. Be committed. Shape what you want to see. Be respectful to and honor a faculty that is in your corner. And in 4 years, regardless of what you do, you will have a community, you will have a family, you will have folk that will walk with you until you become a raisin. And most importantly, whatever you do, remember and recognize that it's not the final art piece that is significant. It is the process. And it's up to you to figure out what that process is. Relax. Enjoy yourself. Bring your whole self to the classroom. Bring your whole self to block break. Have a good time. Be respectful of each other. And peace always be your journey. Thank you.
Let us pray. O Creator, that we know by many names, in this time of renewal, we ask for your blessings and guidance as we enter a new year of seeking, discovery, community, and dedication to expanding the talents and gifts you have blessed us with. May our endeavors continue to bring you glory and to empower our work and those around us, as well as our mission to bring knowledge to support the human condition. We ask for you to bring us peace in times of uncertainty. We seek wisdom and courage as we explore new endeavors, and we ask to be guided by your will. In thy light, we will see the light and continue to move forward, fueled by our passion for knowledge and to support one another. Please be with us as we leave this space and lace our motivations by the grace of your love. We ask this in your name. Amen. Go in peace.